the shocking truth about Queen Elizabeth I's final days, a hidden horror of deception and death. What if the iconic image of Queen Elizabeth I, the indomitable Virgin Queen who crushed the Spanish Armada, forged England into a global powerhouse, and reigned with an iron fist cloaked in velvet for 45 years, was all a meticulously crafted illusion? For decades, she projected unyielding strength, a monarch who seemed immortal, defying time and enemies alike. But in March 1603, deep within the walls of Richmond Palace, something far more sinister unfolded. A series of events so disturbing that her closest advisors spent years burying the evidence. The official narrative paints a serene picture, a peaceful death in her sleep, surrounded by devoted servants, marking the graceful end of the Tudor era. Yet eyewitness accounts clashed wildly. Crucial documents vanished into thin air, and key figures abruptly altered their testimonies under mysterious circumstances. What really transpired in those final, frantic days? Why did powerful forces orchestrate such an elaborate cover-up? Prepare to uncover the chilling realities behind Elizabeth's decline, a tale of toxic beauty rituals, paranoid delusions, political machinations, and perhaps even foul play that reveals how even the mightiest ruler could crumble under the weight of her own legend. If you thought her life was dramatic, her death will leave you questioning everything. Stick around for this extended deep dive, and if you're hooked on history's darkest secrets, hit subscribe. Now we're just getting started. The mask begins. To slip, the toxic illusion of eternal youth by the turn of the 17th century. Queen Elizabeth I was 67, a remarkable age in Tudor England, where life expectancy hovered around 40 for those lucky enough to survive childhood plagues and wars. Yet, in a court where perception was power, admitting any hint of frailty could spark rebellion or foreign invasion. So, Elizabeth and her inner circle engineered one of the most sophisticated deceptions in royal history, a daily ritual that transformed her aging, scarred body into the timeless icon of Gloriana. Each morning, in the privacy of her chambers, a team of trusted ladies-in-waiting spent hours applying layers of Sirusa deadly white paste made from lead and vinegar to her face and neck. This poisonous concoction, popularized in Venetian fashion circles, created the flawless porcelain complexion that became her signature look, masking the deep pockmarks left by a severe bout of smallpox in 1562. But the price was steep. Over years of use, the lead seeped into her skin, causing hair loss, tremors, and neurological damage. By her 60s, Elizabeth was nearly bald, her scalp irritated and inflamed from the chemicals. To compensate, she amassed a collection of over 80 wigs, crafted from human hair, imported from across Europe. Fiery red curls piled high in elaborate styles adorned with pearls and jewels to evoke the aura of a goddess. Her teeth, too, told a tale of hidden decay. A lifelong sweet tooth, fueled by imported sugars from the New World, had rotted them black and jagged, forcing her to speak with a closed mouth or use hand fans during audiences to conceal the gaps. Chroniclers, like Paul Hentzner, a German traveler who visited her court in 1598, noted her black teeth in private journals, but such observations were swiftly suppressed. Gloves became another staple, not just for fashion, but to hide nails that had turned dark and brittle from the same toxins ravaging her system. Modern toxicologists estimate that her daily makeup routine exposed her to lead levels 100 times above safe limits, contributing to chronic pain, insomnia, and mood swings that intensified in her final years. What history often overlooks is how this facade extended beyond cosmetics into carefully staged public appearances. Elizabeth's progresses, her famous tours of the countryside, were choreographed like theater productions, with advanced scouts ensuring flattering lighting and favorable crowds. In private, however, the mask cracked. Servants whispered of nights when she clawed at her face, complaining of burning sensations from the Sirus, or moments when her wig slipped, revealing the sparse gray strands beneath. By 1602, as her health waned, these rituals became a desperate battle against time, a queen fighting not just enemies abroad, but the inexorable betrayal of her own body. The Virgin Queen, symbol of eternal youth and strength, was slowly poisoning herself to uphold the mython. The court knew it, yet dared not intervene. The succession nightmare, a kingdom on the brink of chaos. Elizabeth's steadfast refusal to Name and heir wasn't mere oversight, it was a masterful political strategy that kept rivals off balance for decades. But by 1603, it had morphed into a ticking bomb, threatening to detonate England's stability. For 45 years, she dangled the promise of marriage and succession like a carrot before Europe's princes and her own nobility, using ambiguity as a weapon. Foreign suitors from France, Sweden, and Austria courted her in vain, while domestic factions jockeyed for favor. "I am married to England," she famously declared, but this celibate stance left a vacuum that bred intrigue and fear. As her health faltered, the court fractured into shadowy alliances. Robert Cecil, her shrewd Secretary of State and spymaster, had been secretly corresponding with James VI of Scotland, son of Mary, Queen of Scots, whom Elizabeth had executed in 1587 using ciphers hidden in diplomatic dispatches. These letters, decoded by historians centuries later, reveal Cecil's promises of a smooth transition in exchange for James's Protestant loyalty. Meanwhile, remnants of the Earl of Essex's factions still seething over his 1601 execution for treason plotted alternatives. Whispering of Arabella Stuart, Elizabeth's cousin, or even a Catholic claimant like Isabella Clara Eugenia of Spain, Catholic nobles, suppressed under Elizabeth's Protestant regime, saw her weakness as a divine signal, smuggling Jesuits and plotting uprisings in the north. The international stakes were sky high. Spain, smarting from the 1588 Armada, defeat amassed, troops in the Netherlands poised to support any Catholic pretender. Scotland fortified its borders, with James ready for either invitation or invasion. In London, merchants hoarded gold and grain, anticipating civil war echoing the Wars of the Roses that had scarred England a century earlier. Elizabeth, ever the strategist, seemed to revel in the tension. During her final Christmas court in 1602, she confided to the French ambassador in a cryptic aside, "I may not be here next Christmas, but England will survive the chaos." Was it resignation or a deliberate provocation? Her advisors, led by Cecil, operated a de facto shadow government, forging signatures on state papers and intercepting letters to maintain the illusion of control. By early 1603, England wasn't governed by its queen, but by a cabal desperate to avert collapse, their loyalty tested as Elizabeth's grip loosened. The succession wasn't just a question, it was a powder keg, and her death was the spark. The strange behavior in her final months, signs of a mind unraveling, as 1602 gave way to 1603. Elizabeth's behavior grew so erratic that whispers of madness or supernatural affliction rippled through the court. What began as quirks escalated into episodes that her attendants struggled to conceal, painting a portrait of a queen losing her battle with both body and mind. It started with her sleep patterns. She refused to lie flat in bed, insisting on dozing, upright against stacks of pillows, or even standing against a wall, her ladies supporting her frail frame. In coded diary entries, one attendant noted, "Her Majesty fears if she lies down. She shall never rise again, for the shadows pull her under." This insomnia fueled hallucinations. Servants reported finding her at odd hours conversing with empty air or addressing portraits as if they were living confidants. Her collection of self-portrait symbols of her carefully curated image became obsessions. She ordered them rearranged obsessively, sometimes 47 times in a month, according to palace inventories, claiming they judged her or stole her youth. In one chilling incident, she smashed a mirror, declaring, "It lies to me now." Food became another battleground. Always a picky eater, Elizabeth now rejected meals outright, fearing poison from imagined enemies. She limited herself to broth prepared by a single trusted cook, demanding tasters from among suspected disloyal courtiers a twisted loyalty test. Her weight plummeted, her skin sallow from malnutrition. Yet she maintained public feasts where she pretended to eat, pushing food around her plate. Her hands, once elegant, trembled uncontrollably. Gloves hid blackened nails, possibly from lead poisoning or poor circulation. But she fixated on them, staring for hours and murmuring about time's thieves stealing her vitality. Midnight wanderings added to the eeriness. Guards found her in the gardens at 2 a.m., barefoot in her nightgown, searching for lost happiness or her younger self. Despite orders to seal windows against night air, she believed carried spirits. In February 1603, during a court audience, she abruptly rose and danced solo to phantom music for 20 minutes, her frail body swaying as stunned nobles watched. Upon stopping, she blinked in confusion. Why do all stare so? These episodes prompted management protocols, constant supervision, like handling a volatile patient. Cecil's letters hint at sedation with poppy syrup, but the Queen's mind, sharpened by decades of rule, resisted. Her paranoia turning inward. Was it dementia, poison's toll, or the weight of a crown too heavy to bear? Her final months weren't regal, they were a descent into a personal hell, hidden from the world to preserve the myth. The final act, a coded exit from power on March 10, 1603. Elizabeth relocated to Richmond Palace, her favorite retreat, for what all knew was her swan song. The official chronicle portrays a serene fade, quiet prayer, gentle farewells, a peaceful slumber, but cross-referencing testimonies reveals a tapestry of contradictions, suggesting a death shrouded in mystery and manipulation. On March 18th, Elizabeth reportedly clutched her throat, murmuring, "I am not well," her first public admission, of vulnerability in months. Yet accounts diverge. Cecil claimed she whispered, "all my possessions for a moment of time," evoking poignant regret. Lady Scrope insisted it was, "I wish not to live any longer," implying despair. A third witness swore silence. These discrepancies point to post-mortem editing. The death occurred around 3 a.m. on March 24th, but announcements delayed until 11 a.m. 8-hour void where the palace locked down, admitting only 6 insiders, including Cecil. Rumors of convulsions, final rages, or even a struggle persist in suppressed letters. Strangely, her chamber windows, ordered sealed against drafts, stood open that morning perhaps to disperse odors or symbolize release, but suspicious given. Her phobias, no physician, examined the body independently. No autopsy occurred, unusual for a sovereign. The cause, vaguely old age and melancholy, masking potential poisoning or stroke, this final act wasn't natural, it was staged. The Queen's exit scripted to ensure seamless transition, burying any unbecoming truths, the cover-up, erasing the Queen's last secrets. Elizabeth's death triggered the most efficient historical whitewash in English annals. Orchestrated by those who loved her most, Cecil and his cabal to avert chaos and secure James's ascension. By noon March 24th, riders galloped to Scotland with pre-drafted proclamations, their language suspiciously prescient. Dr. John D., her astrologer-physician, died suspiciously 3 days later, heart failure, silencing a key witness to her symptoms. Lady Scrope retracted her accounts in revised testimony, her family debts erased, and son promoted. Elizabeth's chambers were gutted, within a week furniture burned. Papers destroyed Dunder transition protocol claims, though no precedent existed, witnesses vanished. Sir Thomas Heneage, present in her final weeks, disappears from records, his estate absorbed by the Crown. The funeral, a lavish spectacle costing £11,000, millions today, shifted focus from death's details to life's glory, with a wax effigy parading her idealized image. Cecil's official narrative, disseminated via broadsides, quashed dissent. But private letters uncovered in the 19th century revealed the sanitization. This cover-up preserved Elizabeth's myth, but at the cost of truth ensuring her legacy. As Gloriana endured untainted dots, so what really killed Elizabeth? Dark theories and lingering mysteries, the official old age verdict crumbles under scrutiny, revealing theories from self-inflicted poison to deliberate murder, each more unsettled than the last dot theory one, mercury and lead poisoning. Her ceruse makeup, laden with toxins, caused chronic exposure symptoms matching her tremors, hallucinations, and black nails. Analysis of similar 16th century cosmetics shows lethal doses over time, her wigs and gloves hiding the damage. Was it accidental vanity or a slow suicide? Theory 2, assisted suicide. Coded Cecil letters reference merciful conclusion, suggesting Elizabeth, facing mental collapse and succession fears, chose euthanasia, perhaps opium overdose to control. Her exit, the 8-hour gap allowed, staging a peaceful scene. Theory 3, foul play by extremists. Radical Puritans, or Catholic infiltrators, resenting her moderate reforms, may have poisoned her. A 1999 Richmond renovation uncovered arsenic bottles in a hidden chamber beneath her rooms, classified and removed. Spanish Ambassador de Beaumont's prescient letter hints at intelligence foreknowledge, describing succession details before her death. Theory 4. Natural causes amplified by neglect. Diabetes from sweets, hypertension from stress, or a stroke. From age exacerbated by courtiers' fear of intervention, her refusal of food and rest accelerated decline. But the cover-up suggests something shameful. Whatever the truth, Elizabeth's end wasn't serene. It was a tangled web of deception, her death as enigmatic as her life. The Virgin Queen took her secrets to the grave, leaving historians to piece together a puzzle designed to stay unsolved. The enduring enigma of a legendary Queen Elizabeth I's final days weren't the dignified closure of a golden age. They were a chaotic unraveling veiled by those who built her myth. From toxic beauty to succession intrigue, her story warns of power's isolation and illusion's cost. If this saga reshaped your view of the Tudor Queen, subscribe for more hidden histories. Past's shadows hold endless surprises. What theory do you believe? Comment below and let's discuss.